Ever feel tired driving in the middle of the night? Or angry at the driver in front of you for driving so slowly? But what about ghost drivers? Cars that are on the road, but with no one at the wheel. Have you seen them? Do these haunted vehicles simply pass you by? Or do they follow you home at night? I have 3 stories gathered from the internet about people who had these roadside encounters. Grab a blanket, turn off your lights, and get ready to put on your seatbelts. Because this is gonna be a fast one. Prom night ghost car. It was prom night, and the dance had just ended. So my girlfriend Nikki and I left to go to her friend's house. On the way there, we saw a car up ahead coming towards us. We had to turn left, and it was far enough ahead so I could turn before it got to us. Looking in my rearview mirror, I noticed that the car turned on the same road we were on. Of course, I didn't think anything of it. That was until the car started coming up on us really fast. We were driving around 65 to 70 miles per hour, and judging by how fast the car caught up to us, it must have been going over 100. It rode up behind us and moved over into the other lane. I figured it was going to pass us, but it just stayed there. In the other lane, right behind us. It was so close that if it came back into our lane, it would have clipped my bumper. I started to get nervous because I didn't know what it was doing. I thought that it was trying to wreck us. So I kept glancing in my mirror to see what it was doing. Then all of a sudden, it was gone. It just vanished. There were no roads it could have turned down, and it was so close that I would have noticed. I slowed down and kept looking to see if I could see any sign of it, but I never did. To this day, I still have no idea what was following us that night. I never saw anything like it again, and I hope I never do. Ghost car. I'm so glad I found this site. I witnessed a lot of paranormal things throughout the years, and now I have a place to talk about them. A few years ago, my boyfriend and I, my sister and her boyfriend, went to my nephew's birthday party. He lived outside the capital city, so it was a long ride. We headed back there around 6 p.m. and stayed until 2 a.m. When we drove back, the road was deserted. Around that time, there wasn't much traffic on that road. At some point, we noticed a pickup truck driving behind us. We weren't going too fast, but the pickup didn't attempt to pass us. It just stayed close behind us. We were getting spooked because we thought that maybe someone wanted to ambush us. We got really spooked when my sister, who was sitting in the back, said that she couldn't see anyone behind the wheel, or in the car for that matter. Then suddenly, the pickup gained speed and drove past us. As it drove past us, we looked at it, and to our astonishment, there really was no one behind the wheel. As soon as it had passed us, it disappeared right before our eyes. I don't know how, but we managed to get home safe. Here where we live, we have a radio program where listeners call to relate their paranormal experiences. I phoned and told about my experience. It turned out that we weren't the only ones who had that experience. It is said that a man died on that road in a fatal car accident many years ago. He was driving a white pickup truck. The Ghastly Car. When I was younger, some years ago now, me and my dad were driving in our old Volvo down Darlingston Lane, near Bilston, and it was relatively late at night. The night was quite foggy, and we could just see about 500 or so yards in the distance. We were approaching a bridge which crossed the canal near the park, just under the Black Country Route Bridge. We were traveling at a steady pace, as the fog was no help to our vision. As the car was about to cross the bridge, my dad and I noticed some car headlights in the distance. Obviously, at first we were not fussed, as it was late and all vehicles, lollies, vans, or cars would have their headlights blazing. But as we were on the bridge, the car seemed to be speeding towards us at about 100 miles per hour. Weirdly, the car looked quite old. Not a car you would normally see on roads nowadays. It resembled an old Ford Sierra Cosworth. The car didn't seem to brake at all. At the last second, my dad swerved the car just in time, as did the speeding car. But as the speeding car was about to plummet into the canal below, the car mysteriously disappeared. Me and my dad stared in shock. My dad had the feeling that something of the kind may have happened years ago, which means that the car is some sort of an action replay. He said that some time ago, a car may have sped down this lane and suddenly careened to the side of the road to avoid the vehicle coming to the opposite way, and then sadly met its doom in the canal. Whatever it was, what happened that night was truly freaky.